I'll get by with a little help from my friends. Ooh, I'll get by with a little help from my friends.
Hi, my name is George, and this podcast has been created and submitted as assessment for the Sports Science with Outdoor Activities degree at Bangor University. It will demonstrate good practice on how to remove a casualty with a spinal injury from the water, using life-saving techniques endorsed by the Royal Life Saving Society UK. Let's get suited up. Surfing may look like a casual, risk-free sport to a non-surfer, but everything has its price. As surfers continue to establish new levels of performance on larger waves, it is natural to start seeing some common injuries occur. Some injuries or conditions, such as tendinitis in the rotator cuff, are progressive, meaning they happen over long periods of time. Others can be much more spontaneous, happening due to irregular body movements or collisions. These collisions with a surfboard's rails, fins and nose are the most common cause of acute surfing injuries, including cervical spine fractures. Other common causes of head trauma are coral reefs, hard ocean floors and submerged rocks, with the majority of injuries happening in smaller waves. I will now demonstrate two different techniques that will help you to successfully recover a casualty with a suspected spinal injury, while supporting and immobilising the head and spine to prevent further injury.
The first thing to consider after you suspect someone is in need of first aid assistance is to check the area for danger. Assess the situation before diving in. If you are going to be putting yourself in danger or at risk, then it is not advised that you rush in to help. This will more than likely result in you being a casualty alongside the person you are trying to assist. If the area is considered safe, then approach the casualty. If the casualty is found in waist-deep water that you can stand in, a head splint should be used to recover them. Approach the casualty from the side. Gently pull their arms up to their head so that their biceps are touching their ears. Gently squeeze their arms towards the head to immobilise the head and spine. Once secured, log roll the casualty onto their back. Keep one arm under their head and neck and one arm under the small of their back to help support the spine. The head splint manoeuvre cannot be used effectively in water too deep to stand in. If the casualty is in deep water, a vice grip turn and trawl should be used to secure the casualty's head and spine, whilst allowing you to kick and trawl to shallower waters, where it will be easier to further assist the casualty. Again, approach the casualty from the side. Slide one arm under the casualty, starting with your elbow at their nose and working your way down their sternum. Create a strong V shape with your thumb and index finger and secure the casualty's head by placing it over their chin. With your other arm, cradle the back of their head and get your arm in line with your arm on their sternum. Gently squeeze your elbows and hands together like a vice, securing the head, neck and spine. As you start to trawl, rotate your body under the casualties, put them in a face-up position and trawl to shallower waters. If you have the luxury of an assistant, be it another surfer or beach user, and a surfboard, get them to help you move the casualty onto the surfboard and use it as a makeshift spinal board. If possible, the head and spine should remain in a fixed position. Turn the board onto its rail and force it beneath the water and under the casualty, as carefully and controlled as possible. Once submerged, let the board slowly rise parallel to the casualty's body. If you have recovered the casualty using the vice grip turn and trawl, ask your assistant to splay their fingers and slide them to interlock with the casualty's ears to support them whilst freeing your arms. Once on the board, it will be much easier to get the casualty out of the water.
It is important to remember that with any suspected spinal injury, be it in the water or on dry land, the casualty's airway and breathing is the most important factor to consider and has top priority. Don't be too afraid of causing damage, even to the spine, if it reopens the casualty's airways, as this will save their life. Once out, if someone hasn't already done so, ring the emergency services and get help. Then follow the Dr. AB acronym for emergency first aid. By now, you should be free from any potential danger, so check for signs of response, check that the casualty's airway is open, and check for signs of breathing. If there is no sign of breathing, begin emergency CPR. Monitor the casualty closely until professional help arrives.
Remember, practice is the key to mastering and perfecting a skill. Random practice is the most beneficial form of practice to aid learning. If surfing out with your friends, ask them to pretend to be unconscious at random points throughout your session. This element of randomness makes the situation more lifelike and realistic. When practicing the skill in this way, you will experience a range of emotions and feelings, one of which will probably be anxiety. Continued practice will help you become accustomed to these feelings, reducing your anxiety.
I hope that by watching this podcast you have picked up a thing or two that may end up saving someone's life. Thanks for watching.
You've got a friend in me. You've got a friend in me. When the road looks rough ahead and you're miles and miles from your nice warm bed, you just remember what your old past said.